All right. Welcome, everybody, to TOK at home work. Yes. You're here because you were absent the day of this lesson, or uh, I've assigned it for homework. So I'm going to move right into the lesson today is titled A Relative to Truth. It's the big question one: what is TOK and why do we study it? And it's part of the foundations part of the course. And it is lesson 10. Big question 1.10. Let me show you exactly what we're looking at. This is the first slide. So let's get to it. You should have your notebook, 3-ring binder out and ready, or whatever documentation I've assigned for you to use for the term. And we're going to get right after it. We're talking about truth as a construction of knowledge, which is a construction of memory, essentially. When you put together knowledge, you're putting together memories of what you've been thinking, what you see, or any other sense based input. So when we have memory and we construct knowledge with it, it's something we're pulling from different places and putting it together to create knowledge from memory. So it's a really important way of thinking about knowledge and an important way of describing how we know things. All right. We're going to explain the implications of memory working in a reconstructive way. It's constructed again. All right. Let's head to the next slide. Here's the starter. You have a section for that. I'll read out loud and then you can pause to answer. Memory is a complicated thing, a relative to truth, but not its twin. People sometimes think their own memory is truth's twin. That's not necessarily the case. What do you think she meant by that? Go ahead and pause the video now. I'll make a funny face over on the sidebar. Excellent. Good job answering that. You should have that written down in your starter area of your notebook. Now, this is supposed to be a class discussion type of thing, but we are going to write down some of these memories for yourself and maybe reflect on it when you come back. Assessing your memory. How good is your memory? Write that down. One sentence. You're in the tasks and journals part of the notebook at this time. Write down how good is your memory. I don't know, 1 to 10. 10 being photographic, 1 being I've got amnesia, right? What are the advantages in life of having a good memory? I could answer this all day. I want you to be thinking in terms of accuracy and power of your own memory. It's not the point of the lesson, but it's something you need to be thinking about. And we're going to test that out now. All right, here we go. We're going to test out our own memory now. I'm going to show you the next slide, and then there is 15 words. I'm going to read them, and then I'm going to clear the screen. It'll be yellow. You'll have 1 minute to try to write down as many of them as you can. I will time it right here for you. All right? So keep your audio on. I'm going to mute myself and come back on the screen when a minute is over. All right? I'm going to read them. Don't write down anything until I'm done reading. Ready? Sour, honey, bitter, heart, tooth, nice, sugar, chocolate, taste, tart, candy, soda, good, cake, pie. Now, take your minute. Time is up. How did we do? All right. I'm going to give you another set of words. Same thing. I'll read out the words, then give you a minute to write what you remember down. Okay? This is the last time we'll do it. One more time. Ready? Mad, happy, rage, mean, vengeance, wrath, hate, hatred, fury, emotion, fear, fight, temper, calm, violence. 1 minute. And the minute's up. How did we do? Pretty good this time. All right. How many people, if we were in the room, this is what I would say, but I want you to think about in list one, did you get sweet? In list two, did you remember anger? Right. The second list is probably a little more memorable, right? Uh, for those two questions I said, sweet and anger, those were not on the list. That is a false memory. Why do you think this is? Why did it just happen? And what are the implications of that? Uh, Sometimes your memory can form its own, can construct its own type of memories where it's not necessarily the truth. And I'm sure you guys are really interested in this, right? Let me get the sidebar. Hold on. Let me get the side. I'm sure you guys are really interested in this, right? Because in high school, it's always about, oh, what did she say? He say. Nowadays, you just screenshot it, right? But uh, when you're remembering sports, this happens a lot. I've got a lot of sports stories that may be reconstructed a different way than how it really happened, or in relationships, sports, in class. I don't remember you saying that. He said it. Blah 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 blah. Right. So your context and maybe your mood, maybe somebody else's mood affects your memory and even things you're trying to remember, whether those things are positive or negative. All right. How did you do this time? It says, okay. All right, next up, I am going to, there's the video. I'm not going to play it here, it'll overload everything. I'm going to link it in the description below, like and subscribe, as they say. I keep looking over here, but I should be looking here. So I'm going to give you 7 minutes to watch that video. You can scroll down and link that. If I'm a real good YouTuber, I'll put it somewhere around here, right? They always point right here, right here. I think I can figure that out. So I'll do that. And then I'll have you answer the 5 questions in your journals and tasks section of the of your notebook there. Okay, so click either here or in the description to check that out, and I will be right back when you're done. All right. I need you to respond to the 5 questions that I'll put back up on the screen here. I'd like to challenge you, if you're at home, talk to a sibling or a parent about this. Have them watch it with you or watch it after you, and bat that around with them. I'm sure your parents will love to see what you're learning in this regard. If you're at school and I'm not there, feel free to give one, get one as far as the 5 questions go there. All right. Moving on, we've got. All right, understanding memory. The lesson here wants you to make up your own metaphor for memory in a group. Obviously, that's not the case here, but we'll take a look at Loftus's understanding of memory here. To liken memory to a video recorder or hard drive gives the wrong idea of a memory because it's not permanent, right? So, what would be a metaphor that would work better? Think of that in your head right now. Pause the video. Here's Loftus's. Our memories are constructive, they're reconstructive. Memory works a little bit like a Wikipedia page. Whew. You can go in there and change it, but so can other people, right? If you know how Wikipedia works, you know that it's always changing. There's like people who dedicate themselves to like one Wikipedia page sometimes, but it'd be fun to go try that. Maybe I'll insert that later. But when your memory is always rolling around, people influence it. This will happen later on in life in relationships, where you'll say, "Do you remember that date we went on?" Or maybe with children, where you say, "Daddy, remember this or this?" And you were in a state that your reconstructing of the memory just doesn't work, and it's not a hard drive, and it's not a film that you can play in your brain. Everybody's wired differently, especially their brains. All right, next up. All right, we've got a couple clips about eyewitnesses to murder. At the end of that video, they talked about the criminal justice system and how important memory is to it. There are 3 clips, either here or in the description that you'll watch. Ooh, burp. Include the following terms: language, emotion, imagination, reconstruction, and reliability. So, hit pause button. I'll link all those. Give those a watch and come on back. All right, you're back, and hopefully you've written your paragraph explaining what the films reveal about the way memory works. Again, feel free to share with a sibling or a parent at home or with somebody in your group if you are at school and I'm not there. Next up, very important, we're going to relate it all to the criminal justice system. Let me show you my screen. How about that? All right. Given the nature of memory, should eyewitness testimony be relied on in court cases? We saw the numbers. 72% of bad judgments, right, wrong judgments on people that go to jail for life or whatever is because they proved it to be because of bad eyewitness testimony. There's a really good movie about this, movie recommendation. It's old. Your parents probably know it. It's called My Cousin Vinny, and it's one of the few comedies that got, I think it got Best Picture that year, and it's a really good example of how eyewitnesses can muddle a case. So you're going to tell me, it says debate, and if we were in class, we would do that, probably online or spoken out, but it would carry a lot. But I just need you to write 2 or 3 sentences down. How are you feeling about that? Immediately, what's your reaction? If you don't think it should be relied on in court cases, what kind of evidence should replace it? Be thinking about like the future. Your future probably has cameras everywhere. That's going to matter in this question. We kind of have cameras everywhere now, right? People filming with their phones, but the technology is going to get further and further along, well, where we have to reconsider eyewitness testimony. And then if it should include eyewitness testimony, how do you make sure it's not wrong or that it's working? So debate that with somebody around you or just in your own head. Next up, each one of these lessons has a link to the IA. Hopefully I've given you a lesson on the IA on its own, in its own standing. If not yet, you will. But in this case, if you were thinking about doing an IA on this particular topic, the prompt here, there's a lot of exhibition prompts that I have stored up, but one that would be good for this is which knowledge features impact on its reliability. So when you do this IA, you would pick out a couple objects, 3 to be exact, and how you could discuss this and show it. I hopefully have showed you an example of that. If not, you will. All right. for the exit over in starters and exits, you're going to answer me in 3 to 5 sentences. How can we guard against our memories being manipulated by people seeking to obscure or hide the truth? Think about the activity we did at the beginning. Think about technology. Think about exercising your own brain. All right, so hit that pause button now. Do that. Come back. We've looked at languages, the human sciences, and a lot about the IA stuff. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can email me, and I'll get back to you in a reasonable amount of time if it's within a reasonable amount of window of time. And that'd be that.